So this was kind of a little spacery something or another to put on the top of here, and it's kind of a temporary, or not temporary, but it acts as a washer, and it doesn't really seem to serve any purpose other than to sort of hold the sprag in place from underneath, which obviously I won't need that anymore. And if I have the old one somewhere, laying over here, you can see between the two that the hardware, the edge of the bolts just ate into this thing and just rendered it pretty useless. So I'm not going to reuse that, but what I am going to do is separate these two pieces and probably just reuse this as its own washer. But again, as I was describing before, these bolt heads are made for that vacuum unlock or lock feature, and I don't need that. So I won't use this bolt, but I just got this for reference. I'll size some proper stout 10/8 metric hardware, probably Allen-headed hardware to run through here. So I can just have normal bolts in here, and I don't have to worry about any kind of weird specially made hardware. Sorry, Gary, I won't be using your stuff most likely. So probably have to put in an order with McMaster Car for some stuff, but it'll be a little bit more off the shelf, and even though it doesn't really sound like it, a little bit less custom. So we're just kind of simplifying the rear end. It's fewer overall parts, fewer moving parts, and should be a lot more stout. The cool thing that obviously Kendall recognized immediately that it took me a second to figure out is if you look at this differential, save this back piece here that's obviously custom. This is a 020 Volkswagen rod linkage shift front wheel drive transmission differential. So absolutely nothing different about that. All the internals are the same. Obviously that's why Gary Peliquin could easily make a 02C rear end, only changing the case a little bit, and Volkswagen once again scavenged from their parts bin and just reused as much as possible. So that means all the CV cups and all the bearings and whatnot are pretty much shared between 020 and the 02C rear. So that makes it really nice, and that'll tell you anything that an 020 front differential power-wise or torque-wise can handle that the rear end can handle no problem. And I won't be making anything over, you know, a crazy amount of horsepower. Probably I would be, you know, ecstatic if I could make 200 horsepower, but that'll never make it to the wheels. So I don't think I'll have knock on wood or something, I won't have a problem breaking the rear end unless I really am just slamming gears or something. So that's kind of nice. And what that also enables me to do is change from a 90 millimeter CV setup on the rear end, which is what it came with, to 100 millimeter CVs, which are a lot stronger. Even though it's only 10 millimeter, there's just something magical about 100 millimeter CVs. They've used them on Beetles, and they've used them on everything, and they're pretty much bulletproof unless you overextend the angle, which is difficult to do on the rear. It's easier to do on the front, and that's why you break axles. But whenever I talked to Tim O'Neill a long time ago, who actually used to run a rally golf, one of the few rally golfs that did SCCA rally in the States in 91-ish, 90 or 91, whenever they brought it over here. He said the two points of failure were really those 90 millimeter CVs and the center differential. And those are the two, you know, huge ground up rebuilds I've done, and has completely re-engineered how that center differential works. He actually just locked his. He said he drilled some holes through the side of the case and just ran machine screws in it because he didn't want to deal with it. And then I've upgraded all of the CVs all throughout the car to 100 millimeter stuff. And I guess he was running, save the front two axle inners and outers, I suppose, he was running 90 millimeter stuff all around. So I guess that's why he saw quite a few failures. Hopefully I'll have a little bit better luck upgrading all the stuff. So once again, Volkswagen stuff is kind of Lego-esque, even though it seems like I'm doing a lot of crazy fabrication work here. Most of the stuff actually bolts up, and I'm doing as much parts bin scavenging as Volkswagen did in the late 80s whenever they designed the system. So they still make it pretty easy. There's not a whole lot of time spent on the lathe.
What you working on?
I already sized the bolt up for replacing those. So I'm just gonna order some Allen headed.
Yeah, cap head screws. Yep.
Yeah. I was gonna try and press this bearing out so that I could clean this whole thing up. Do you have the parts washer hooked up?
Which parts washer?
The blue one. If so,
yeah, we just plug it in.
Yeah.
Or we can use the power washer one.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we just have to plug it in.
These are all standard. This is O2A or O20 seal, right?
I think so.
Okay. I just want to make sure I didn't.
Should have a part number on it.
You know I have to keep that in now.
I do that every time. If you kept that in every episode, it would just be next time on Project Syncro. Every time.